Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley Gatewood, the Communications and Marketing Director at CFRE International. And today I am having a chat with Ken Miller, who has been a CFRE since 2015, and he has been a consultant since 2014. He is the president of Denali FSP Fundraising and Grants Consultants, and he is currently based in Washington State. It's good to see you, Ken.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
Yeah. And so you've been a CFRE throughout the entire time that you've been a consultant. You became a CFRE a year after you began your consultancy. Sometimes people are thinking about becoming consultants and they think, do I need the CFRE because I see behind the names a lot of other consultants? Does it really matter? So with the years of experience that you have as a consultant and a CFRE under your belt, what would you say are any benefits to holding the credential as a consultant?
Well, I believe that you should get your CFRE if you are, an individual in advancement or development, and you want to set yourself apart from the others that are within the field or the sector, as I would call it. I got my CFRE as soon as I could. At that time, it was 5 years. It's changed now to 3 years. And so I entered the field in 2010, and in 2015, I studied for it, I studied hard, and I received my CFRE when I tested the first time. I became a consultant the year before because of the reasons that were happening in Alaska at that time. And I thought it'd be good to be a consultant in Alaska. But at the time, I thought that I needed to show that credentialing, to show that modicum of success and or knowledge, the basics, the fundamentals, the what I call the baseline of knowledge that an individual needs to be able to have to be able to say that, hey, I'm a consultant. You can not get the CFRE, but I would not recommend it if you are a consultant. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Another reason that I got the CFRE as a consultant is that it allowed me to teach specific classes, especially for the Association of Fundraising Professionals. And I teach probably 10, 15 classes, workshops, seminars per year, but I needed that CFRE for specific classes to be able to do that. Also, I needed the CFRE if I was going to teach or provide webinars, workshops with a CFRE, teaching credits that are available, what we call our educational credits. And so for those ECs, I needed to be able to be a CFRE before I could, teach at that level. And then the other thing that I really enjoyed about it, even as a consultant, is that when I'm going up against, well, I hate to use the word against because I'm not really a competitive person in the fundraising field or the consultant field, but if I have an RFP that's been put out by an organization seeking a consultant, many times they will use that to filter through the potential person they're going to bring on or firm that they will bring on. And so with my CFRE, at least I had that ability to have that credential that was earned, and they understand that it was earned. And that way I can get to that next level, to that next interview, to sometimes the first interview, because I do have that CFRE.
That's a good point, and we often hear CFREs hire CFREs, because they know what the rigor of the credential is. So I can imagine as well, if you're working with a nonprofit and their director of development is a CFRE, and they're looking at various consultants, it means even more for them to see that after someone's name because they themselves have gone through it, so they understand precisely, what you've demonstrated as far as your fundraising knowledge. So that's great to hear. And so the education credit points. So you recertify every 3 years when you're a CFRE. And some people say, okay, well, once I get my CFRE, now I've got to re-up every 3 years. I feel like I just did all this work to earn it. Do I really have to do more education and more earning of these points? But what would you say is a good way for people who have your years of experience, you've been in this field well over 10 years, to find education that is beneficial for them, but also helps meet those CFRE requirements?
Well, it's interesting because what we call it is usually continuing education, CE credits. And what we have to always remind ourselves is not to allow ego or hubris to take over and think that we know everything. And I'll be honest with you, I thought I've been there at certain times in my journey. But one of the things that we do know within our field that many things do change. There are updates and there's new things with donor advised funds. There's new things with AI. There's new things with chat GPT. And there's just new things that are coming within our field that we need to keep, especially as a consultant when we're giving our intellectual property to a client. We need to be really, be very, very good at it and know the best information that's out there. And so the other thing is I think a lot of it has to do with how do we look at ourselves and how do we look when we go in. One of the things about being a CFRE is that, it helped with my self-esteem because I knew that I was competent. That's what it comes down to, competency. So we continue to get the education. We continue to look for things that we may feel are areas of weakness or areas of strength that we need to reinforce that knowledge. And then we can present those in confidence and competently to the client that we pick up. So I continue through online sources. I do it at AFP International Conference. We're doing quite a few here in an upcoming month. I do it at my chapter level where we have individuals that have the CE credits available from CFRE. I will take those. And again, it's in the end, as long as I'm teaching in this field, as long as I'm presenting, as long as I'm consulting, I will continue to get continuing education and I will be able to have my points for CFRE and just for my self-satisfaction and ability to perform for my clients.
And that makes really good sense because you're right. It is easy to fall into the trap of thinking, "Oh, I know everything I need to know," and then you go to a webinar off chance and you learn 5 things, and you think, "Oh, geez, this is why I need to keep coming on these webinars." All right, and just our final question here is for people who are looking at becoming a fundraising consultant or for people who already are consultants and they're wondering, okay, if I earn my CFRE, what is the tangible impact going to be from my consultancy? Um, what would you say?
Well, the impact, we can look at it from financial sense and that, I have sure acquired clients or at least had the ability to put in a proposal in response to the RFP because I am a CFRE. The other thing that it has done for me is one of the things is when you get your CFRE, it will tell you of areas of weakness, areas that you may not be as competent because that wasn't your area. You might have been just doing annual giving, but now we need to look at planned giving. We also have to look at ethics. There's many different things within the CFRE accreditation and the testing that will allow you to understand where am I weak and let me bring that up to at least a fundamental baseline that I can, either present or share with someone else. So again, it gives you the ability to go into the client knowing that I'm well-rounded, knowing that I am competent in my field, and knowing that I can deliver the value added that the client is expecting. And therefore, as I say, you can sleep well at night. And then the other thing I just wanted to also add is a CFRE as a Black man, as a person of the BIPOC community, I believe and it behooves me to be able to be an example and to lead. I mentor many young men in the field of color, and I'm in many organizations of color. And one of the things that I want the other individuals to see is that, yes, we can get this accreditation. Yes, we can get the advanced degrees. Yes, that you can, as a young fundraiser, development, or advancement professional, you have an example of someone who has done this. And if anything I can do to assist you on the CFRE or any of the other accreditation that you may see out there, let me know. Let's talk about it and let me help you walk through that process because I've done it. I have the proof.
You make some excellent points in the conversation around the pay gap that many people experience compared to, what we think of as maybe traditionally presenting white males earn here, and other people, we don't tend to earn that much in comparison. But we know from AFP's data last year, 2022, that people with the CFRE earn 5 to 16% more than people with comparable experience without the CFRE. And that's one reason why I'm so passionate about the CFRE, because I think that for people who have perhaps historically been in positions where their salaries weren't as competitive as they should be, they have this bargaining chip in their back pocket now. And they say, you know, I'm part of this global community. I do have these 4 letters after my name. I've proven that I have the knowledge to do this job. And so that they can hopefully negotiate for better salaries. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Ken. I really appreciate it. It was good to see you and speak with you, and you've given us some very good food for thought for folks who may be looking at becoming a consultant or are already consultants, and what the CFRE could do for them. Thank you so much.
Thank you.